Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We would like to welcome all of you to the program this evening. We are happy that this program has been organized and will take a verse from the Bhagavatam for discussion. This is text, Canto 4, Chapter 30, text. Sorry. Remove the ribbon. Or 38. How many of you have the Bhagavatam in your pocket? Maybe on your smartphone. Okay. If you wish to, it's 438. We just read the translation and purport.
Mike.
Just to go.
Mike, 1 minute.
Yeah. With a ribbon and with his mic.
There's another one.
Well, let's start.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Varam Deva Vrinidvam
Varam Devam Bhadrambo
Yuyam Me Nripanandana Sauhardena Prithak Dharma Pushtoham Sauhridena Va.
Translation and purport.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me." Please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
"My dear sons of the King,
My dear sons of the King,
I am very much pleased
I am very much pleased
by the friendly relationships
by the friendly relationships
among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. Purport. Since the sons of King Prachina were all united in Krishna consciousness, the Lord was very pleased with them. Each and every one of the sons of King Prachina was an individual soul, but they were united in offering transcendental service to the Lord. The unity of the individual souls attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord or rendering service to the Lord is real unity. In the material world, such unity is not possible. Even though people may officially unite, they all have different interests. In the United Nations, for instance, all the nations have their particular national ambitions, and consequently they cannot be united. This unity between individual souls is so strong within this material world that even in a society of Krishna consciousness, members sometimes appear disunited due to their having different opinions and leaning toward material things. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be two opinions. There is only one goal, to serve Krishna to one's best ability. If there is some disagreement over service, such disagreement is to be taken as spiritual. Those who are actually engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be disunited in any circumstance. This makes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very happy and willing to award all kinds of benedictions to His devotees, as indicated in this verse. We can see that the Lord is immediately prepared to award all benedictions to the sons of King Prachina Harisha.
Om Gyantimandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurvamena Shri Chaitanya Manavastram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Can everyone hear me clearly? Yes. On the back? Yes. On this side?
Yes.
Okay. I was trying to speak louder. So, you hear attentively this verse. The verse is being spoken by the Supreme Lord, and He's addressing the purchasers. How many of you have read the 4th canto? Okay. That's all? Only one person. Okay. In the 4th canto you read the story of a king called King Prachina. He had sons. He sent the sons to be trained in austerity. But he himself, the father, was engaged in fruitive work. The Srimad Bhagavatam is presented in 12 cantos and 18,000 verses, and is full of stories. Every story has a spiritual theme, a spiritual message. So King Prachina, he was engaged in fruitive activity. I want more wealth. I want more sense facility. And he had sent his sons to perform austerity. His sons met Lord Śiva. And Lord Śiva gave them a mantra. A mantra means a chant that will give you peace of mind. And that mantra was glorifying the Supreme Lord. Narada Muni is a great sage. All of you know Narada Muni? Yes. Okay. He's one of the Mahajans. And Narada Muni only has one business in life: to give Krishna to everyone. And he can save most contaminated individuals. Once Narada Muni was in a forest and he saw many half-killed animals suffering and about to die. So Narada Muni said, "Who is responsible for half-killing these animals?" The hunter Mrigari, who was responsible, hid himself behind the bushes. When Narada Muni made this announcement, he came out from back and said, "I'm Mrigari, the hunter who is responsible." Narada Muni said, "Why don't you fully kill them? Why do you half kill animals, see them suffering, who eventually die?" The hunter said, "I get great pleasure in seeing the animals suffer." So Narada Muni guided him and instructed him and told him the sinful reaction that follows such an act. The hunter said, "But this is my family business. This is how I earn my livelihood. Kill animals, sell flesh, and that's my main source of income. If I give up this business, how will I live?" Now the Muni said, "Don't worry, I'll make sure you're provided for." And the hunter gave up this cruel business, and gradually the word spread around. The great hunter Mrigari, that everybody was scared of, has become a great devotee. So it's a normal tradition in most cultures of the world. You don't go to see a sage empty-handed. So Narada Muni saw that their neighbors, the people of the village, were all going to see this hunter who was transformed, and they all took some gifts. Narada Muni happened to pass by again with his friend Parvata Muni, and they came to see Mrigari. Narada Muni noted this hunter was walking so cautiously that he would not even place his feet on the ground till he made sure there was no animal on the ground. And Narada Muni asked him, "So, have you been provided for?" And he said, "Provided? More than provided." So, Narada Muni has cured many people, and following in his footsteps, Prabhupada cured the fallen people of Kali Yuga. So, the sons of King Prachina chanted the mantra, and Narada Muni, being concerned about the king's welfare, went to the house of the king uninvited. Normally, we don't go somewhere uninvited, but a devotee goes uninvited because his desire is to save everyone. So the Lord was very pleased by the sacrifice, by the austerities of the Prachetas, and the Lord over here is addressing them. He said, "My dear sons of the king, I'm very pleased by the friendly relationship amongst all of you. All of you are engaged in one occupation. And what is that? Yeah. So in the varnashram system, someone may be a brahmachari, someone may be a priyasya, someone may be a sannyasi, somebody may be a vanaprastha. Regardless of which varnashram you belong to, regardless of what your cultural background is, we should all have one business, that is devotional service. Lord said, "I'm very pleased by your friendly relationship." So, what is the message? If we want to please the Lord, the important point is we engage in devotional service. And the Lord is pleased when He sees that all of us are engaged in devotional service. And if you are engaged in devotional service, the Lord is very pleased, and the Lord is telling the Chetas, ask me for any benediction you want. And in the purport, Prabhupada explains the importance of having a friendly relationship. Prabhupada used to say, united we stand, and how do we fall? Why do we fall? This is a famous British phrase that Prabhupada used to use. So if we are united in serving Krishna, regardless of our varna or ashram, then it will be a strong force to reckon with. And if you're not united, then you won't be so strong. So our main goal should be to practice devotional service. Today, in the materialistic society, where people are by and large ignorant, they're endeavoring so hard for happiness, but are they finding happiness? Lord Maharaj has nicely stated, "Nata vidam svata gatim Vishnu." People do not know how real happiness can be found. Material society gives us education that helps us to understand we need sense enjoyment. That helps us get more entangled. It creates more illusions. But if you're fortunate enough to come in contact with the devotee of the Lord, then our whole future can change. Just like Prabhupada. He came to America at the age of 70 with hardly anything in his pocket, but he had a single-pointed mission. And his mission was to spread the Lord's message. He had undergone great obstacles in India. On a journey to America, also he had obstacles, but he was determined. He had 2 heart attacks on his journey to America. And he was thinking, I'll go to America and come back. But then he had a dream in which he was sitting in a boat along with the demigods. And the Lord was personally rowing the boat and said, "Don't worry, your mission will be successful." So Prabhupada was determined, and eventually he succeeded in opening a temple in New York. Today there are temples all over the world. But all over the world, the message being given is the same. Chant Hare Krishna and engage in devotional service. Because this is the conclusion of the scriptures. Prabhupada used to say, if at all there's a shortage of anything, it's this knowledge of love of God. So, we need to understand the importance of this knowledge. We need to spread this knowledge. Just like everyone sitting here. We were all born in ignorance. We offer a prayer before we speak. Om Agyanti Vrindasya Jnananjana Shalakya. In simple language, what does it mean? I was born in ignorance, but with the mercy of the sadhu, spiritual teacher, my ignorance is now being destroyed. So, this knowledge of Bhakti Yoga is very much needed. Prabhupada was once lecturing at a very important university in America, and he said, in this great university, is there any department that tells you what happens after death? And there was complete silence. So by and large, people are in ignorance, and they need to be enlightened. So if we engage in devotional service, then there will be unity. Because when we don't engage in devotional service, when we are influenced by material desires, and what is the nature of the material desires? What is the nature? Who knows? They are decreasing, they are always increasing. Doesn't matter how hard you try, you can never satisfy them. In the Bhagavatam it is said, when you have an itching sensation and you scratch, initially it will give you some relief. Then the disease becomes worse. So material education is aimed at teaching you how to get more illusion. Whereas spiritual education means you endeavor to understand your real position. So, by studying the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, we understand the importance of devotional service. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So being in the association of devotees helps us to be reminded of the real path. So the Lord is saying, I'm very pleased by all of you, because all you brothers are fixed on the devotional path. It means all you brothers are fixed in trying to satisfy me. So that should be our goal. With all our endeavors, we try to please the Lord. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yad karoshi yadasnasi, yad rosi dadasya, yad tapasasi kaudya, tad Krishna manarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever strategies you do, whatever job you do it as an offering to me. But this knowledge is obtained as a result of spiritual association. So today, in material life, what do we see? Everyone is endeavoring so hard to find happiness. But is there any happiness? They are endeavoring so hard. Even if we do have happiness, it is flickering, it is short term. And we're looking for engagements to occupy ourselves. I was recently in Russia, and the whole country was virtually absorbed in what? The world football, soccer match. And the tournament over? Good, not as good. Okay. Almost everyone was watching it. And they had so many attractions. If you were a regular fan of World Cup, then you even got free tickets. And what was most amazing, the senior-most fan, who was recognized by 6 previous World Cups, was an Indian. Who was 92 years old. So the organizers of the World Cup especially made arrangements to bring him to Moscow. He was given a free ticket, free hotel, free travel to all the locations, just because he had been to 6 World Cups before. So they have a system by which if you're a regular visitor, you can keep connected to some agency. So they gave him the special award. And then he was asked, so now, what is your ambition in life? He said, to attend the next World Cup. He was already 92 years old. But the good thing was, because he was such a hit with the media, being 92 years old and having been to 6 World Cups, that they brought him to a temple in Moscow. And the temple in Moscow got a lot of publicity. So what I'm saying is, illusion is all pervasive. Here's a 92-year-old man being assisted by others to walk, who flies all the way to see the World Cup. And his ambition at 92 is to be alive for the next World Cup 4 or 5 years down the road. So that is known as a power of illusion, which means, yes, this is what will give me pleasure. So similarly, there are so many sporting events, social events, etc. But that's not going to give us real happiness. If we want real happiness, we should take the devotional service. And amongst devotees, there may be individual opinions, as Prabhupada says in the purport, but our ultimate goal should be to please Krishna. And if that's the goal, then we will be able to please the Supreme Lord. So that should be our business, to take the Krishna consciousness seriously. Sadhu Sangha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized 5 important points. One of them was spiritual association. Spiritual association is a must if we want to make spiritual advancement and if we want to maintain a spiritual life. All week we associate with non-devotees in our jobs, businesses, etc. And if we don't take advantage of this association at least once a week, twice a week, it will be very hard to maintain our spiritual life. Therefore the scriptures again and again talk about the importance of spiritual life. And then if you have genuine association, then you get the real message. And what is the real message? Chant Hare Krishna. And what does this chanting do? This chanting cleanses the heart. Our heart is heavily contaminated with unlimited material desires. And what does this chanting do? Cleanses the heart. We can all testify. On days when you do your chanting nicely, when spiritual enthusiasm is high or low?
High.
And on days when you don't chant enthusiastically, when you don't chant attentively, then what happens? The spiritual enthusiasm is low. On days when you chant properly, Krishna becomes beautiful and Maya becomes ugly. Am I right? And on days when you don't devote attention to chanting, Maya becomes beautiful all of a sudden and Krishna becomes ugly. So, this chanting of the holy name is most important. And as we know, one can chant the holy name day and night and not get tired. Often, the children wonder, how can they chant and not get tired? You can chant and not get tired, but the holy name is descending from the spiritual world. So, if you have the right association, then you'll have the right message. Parikshit Maharaj was very concerned how many people in Kali Yuga will be saved. And that's the nature of a devotee. Just like Narada Muni is always thinking how to save the conditioned soul. Vaishnava is one who is paradukha dukhi. Seeing others in distress, he also becomes distressed. And his desire is to save people. So Parikshit Maharaj asked Śrīla Gopāla Kṛṣṇa, how will people in Kali Yuga be saved? And what did Śrīla Gopāla Kṛṣṇa say? Kale dosya nidirajan. O king, Kali Yuga will be full of vices. If we look at society today, we see on the one hand, science is making great progress. Am I right? You can't deny. Especially living here in Silicon Valley, which is the base of all the high tech of America and the whole world, where technology is invented and used. So, and what is technology doing? Technology is creating facilities which can be used or misused. Just like we have these smartphones. If you look at these smartphones, they can do unlimited activity, am I right?
Yes.
At one time we thought it was just a telephone. But then we discovered, oh, they can do more than a telephone. They can be a video. They can be a camera. They can do multiple tasks. And now, you don't even have to go to the theater. You can watch movies on your smartphone. You don't even have to go to nightclubs. You can watch pornography on the smartphone. You can gamble on the smartphone. This is misuse of technology. But devotees use it positively. What do? They put Prabhupada's books in the smartphone. Whoever dreamt a day would come when you could carry all of Prabhupada's books in your pocket. Did any of you think of that, Krishna?
No, back then I didn't ever think.
I never dreamt, even 5 years ago, that a day would come when you could carry all of Prabhupada's books in your pocket. Of course, this is bad for the BVT. BVT will sell us books. Anyway, but today, those are intelligent. What do? They put all of Prabhupada's books in the smartphone. DD pictures, have daily darshans of Mayapur, Vrindavan, and so on. So, as Bhaktisiddhantaji said, he said, materialists invent technology and a devotee uses it in service of the Lord. And the point we are making is, by and large, material education, material environment helps us to forget the Lord. So in the association of devotees, we realize that we need to chant the holy name to overcome the evil influences. So Śrīla Gopāla said, in the ocean of ice, there's one benediction in this age, there's one special concession. What is that? The chanting of the holy name of Krishna. This chanting of the holy name is our most important activity. And this chanting will also give us real pleasure, anandavati vardhana. And this chanting can protect us from Maya's attack. In the Upadesha myth, Gopāla Kṛṣṇa states, the holy name of the Lord is sweet like sugar candy. The qualities of the Lord are also sweet like sugar candy. The passions of the Lord are also sweet. But my tongue is afflicted. What is it afflicted by? By? Avidya. Ignorance. Lust, anger, greed, envy, hatred, these are all. Just like when you have blisters in the tongue, even if somebody gives you something very palatable, you can't relish it, am I right? When you have high fever, even if someone offers you the most palatable pizza, you won't be able to relish it. But then as your fever comes down, you can relish it more and more. So Rupa Goswami says, Rupa Goswami at one time was serving in the government of West Bengal, Nawab Hussain Shah, in a very important position. But his heart was not into this. So he eventually resigned, and on Lord Chaitanya's order, came to Vrindavan. And the order was, identify places where the Lord has performed his pastimes, and establish temples, and write books on the science of devotional service. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had personally instructed Rupa and his brother Sanatan on the process of devotional service. Rupa Goswami gave us many wonderful books. And Prabhupada translated two of them, which are Upadesha Myth and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, Rupa Goswami said, due to the influence of this disease of Avidya, we can't relish the sweetness of the holy name. That's why we fall asleep while doing japa many times. Is that right? Is that right or wrong? Why they don't fall asleep here? Would you ever fall asleep while eating prasad? No. Because prasad is very attractive. Anyway, that's our saving grace. At least we like prasad. And we stick to eating prasad. Gradually you get purified. Prabhupada attracted unlimited devotees with the medium of prasad. Prabhupada would personally endeavor and cook the Sunday feast to make it attractive for conditioned souls to come and taste prasad. So, Śrīla Gopāla said, special benediction of the ages is chanting of the holy name. So we should endeavor to constantly improve the chanting of the Mahamantra. If we chant regularly, our foundation will be strong. And if your spiritual foundation is strong, it will be easy to overcome Maya. So Rupa Goswami says, if you constantly chant attentively, then the disease of Maya will get cured and you'll be able to taste the sweetness of the holy name. Just like many of us, when we first were introduced to the chanting, it looked like an impossible target. But then as we started chanting, we started experiencing satisfaction. And eventually, most of us reached a position we could chant 16 hours. So, this chanting is our most important activity. On top of that, we should also read Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you read the story. Lord Chaitanya was on a tour of southern India. He came to a temple in Srirangam, and there he saw an uneducated Brahmin daily sitting and reciting 18 chapters of the Gita. This Brahmin was materially uneducated. He was ordered by his guru to daily recite the Bhagavad Gita, and he would do it every day. Even though he was not able to pronounce the shlokas properly, and in most cases he didn't even understand the meaning. But he would meditate on that picture of Krishna driving a chariot, of Arjuna, or Krishna acting as Parthasarathi. And he would meditate. Oh, just see how compassionate the Supreme Lord is. Thou is the Lord. He agreed to become the chariot driver of his devotee. So Lord Chaitanya could see that this Brahmin was displaying genuine symptoms, not fake. The word fake has become quite popular in America these days. People talk about fake news, fake this, fake that. So there's a lot of fake activities going on all over the world, and one of them is displaying false symptoms of ecstasy. But Lord Chaitanya could see these are genuine symptoms. So he went to the Brahmin and said, what is it in the Bhagavad Gita that is making you display these symptoms? And the Brahmin said, I am uneducated, but my spiritual master told me, recite 18 verses every day. So I do this as a matter of duty, even though I know people laugh at me for this. And when I see how humble the Lord is, then tears come from my eyes and my hair stand on end. Lord Chaitanya then embraced the Brahmin and said, you have understood the real meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. And then the Lord kept the Brahman with him for 4 months and instructed him thoroughly on the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says, here was a Brahman who followed his Guru's order, namely, recite 18 chapters of the Gita every day. And the end result was that the Lord personally came to him and eventually explained to him the message of the Gita. So we should make it a point to read the Gita every day. May not be 18 chapters, maybe 1 verse, 2 verse. But reading the Bhagavad Gita will help us stay on the right path. Because the Bhagavad Gita is without doubt the most important book of knowledge, Raja Vidya Raja Guhya. And by reading the Gita, we are constantly in touch with Krishna. After all, what does the Gita contain? Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Lord is speaking. So when we talk about devotional service, what are we talking about? Not just some sentimental expression. Yes, I'm on the devotional path. It means you're doing what Krishna wants you to do. Namely, chant Hare Krishna, read the books, cultivate the mood of humility, cultivate the mood of service, and be respectful to each other. One way to have friendly relationship amongst devotees is to appreciate the efforts of every devotee. And as Prabhupada used to say, be like a bee, not a what? Fly. A fly is interested in dirt. The bee is interested in something clean environment. So by looking at the good in all the Vaishnavas, looking at the good in devotees, we also gain respect for them. And by respecting each other, it will automatically be a spiritual atmosphere where everybody is endeavoring to please Krishna. We often have the tendency to fault find and criticize, engage in prajalpa, engage in criticism. Lord Chaitanya said, this is mad elephant offense. Just being jealous of Vaishnavas. 2 days ago, we celebrated, what did we celebrate? Śrīla Gopāla Kṛṣṇa Day. And there's a famous story of the Brahmin who was envious of Śrīva, who conspired to defame him, then got hit with leprosy. So on the devotional path, we should avoid the offenses, because offenses are compared to a mad elephant that can destroy that beautiful garden with devotional service. So, the Lord is telling the Prachetas, I'm pleased with all of you, because all of you have only one business, and that is, what is that? So regardless of which one or ashram we belong to, that should be our main service. In the 7th canto, Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired from Narada Muni. He said, please explain how can we who are living in the house of the ashram achieve perfection according to the Vedas. And Narada Muni said, engage in earning your livelihood, but then associate with saintly people, glorify the Supreme Lord, and use the livelihood you earn also to broadcast the teachings of the Lord. So the Lord doesn't say, don't do your duty, give up your family life, etc. In fact, Lord Chaitanya, when he was touring in southern India, he came and stayed in the house of a devotee called Kurma. The Kurma Brahmin said, my dear Lord, I'm very unhappy in my present position. I want to just leave home and travel with you. Lord Chaitanya said, you don't have to do that. Stay where you are. Chant the holy name and spread the glories of the holy name. If you do this, you will always be with me and I will always be with you. So the message is very clear. You can practice Krishna consciousness in any ashram, and our goal should be to constantly engage on this path and not deviate. And if we are determined, Krishna will help. Prabhupada used to say, you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take 9 steps towards you. So, and Krishna said, those who worship me with devotion, I preserve what they have and I make up what they lack. So we will be lacking in so many areas. If we sincerely make an effort, Krishna will help. So, take advice given by the Lord to the Prachetas. The Lord is clearly telling the Prachetas, I'm pleased with all of you because all of you have one business, devotional service. And since I'm pleased, ask from me any benediction that you want. So devotee desire is, come what may, you may remain on the path of devotional service. And that's a sincere effort, Krishna will help. And by constantly staying in devotee association, we get assisted to follow these goals. So that should be our endeavor. So with this verse is very appropriate for all of us. In any community, this verse is applicable. And our goal should be to engage in devotional service and be friendly with other Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, because our goal is to be united in spreading and practicing devotional service. So take this advice seriously and you'll benefit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm trying to leave some time for questions if you have. I didn't want to give a long class.
This is Mike.
Yes. You like the verse?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class.
In the down
Right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful and inspiring class. You said that when we associate with devotees and follow the path of Krishna consciousness, right now we are in a joyous condition, but as we get purified, we get the taste of chanting the holy name of the Lord. So, since I'm in a conditioned state, I just was curious.
Little louder.
I was just curious, what it is like, the taste of the holy name?
Oh, good question. The taste is, you feel like chanting all the time. You don't feel like stopping it. Lord Chaitanya was asked by Prakashananda Saraswati, you are such a prominent Sanskrit scholar. Why don't you sit down and study the Vedanta with us? What are you chanting like a madman? The Lord said, my spiritual master considered me to be a fool and said, that's all you are capable of doing. Further he said, I told my Guru, what have you done? You've given me a mantra that I can't stop chanting. What magic have you done? When Lord Chaitanya started as Sankirtan movement in Navadvip, many people opposed it. The Hindus, smarter Brahmins opposed it. Why? They were losing their income. Maybe they put everything, they had to do a ritual and call the pandit. With Harinam, you don't need anybody. So they complained to the Mohammedan ruler. This, I started some concrete process. And the Muslims also complained. They said, if we don't stop this, all the Muslims will become Hindus. So there was one Mohammedan with a beard who would go 10 times a day to the Qadi. You haven't stopped the Samvedan movement as yet. Please hurry up and do it quickly. So the Qadi said, you come to me all day to complain, to stop it. But whenever I see you, you're chanting Hare Krishna. What is this? The Mohammedan said, it's a fact. Since I heard the holy name, I just can't get it out of my system. So, to answer your question, taste means you have a desire to chant. You don't have to be forced. Come on, you must chant, otherwise you're not going to get your prasad. No one's going to tell you that, but anyway. You have a taste to serve. You have a desire to associate with devotees. That clear?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You nicely explained the importance of cooperation, but with the present condition, especially for myself and working with devotees, there are times where, of course, not at an extreme level, but there will be some differences, especially if you are part of some team or project. So at that time, what should be done? I mean, in the name of unity, should we just ignore it? Or because sometimes, if we talk to someone, it is called prajalpa, gossip, talking back, bad thing. That is,
I follow. Prabhupada in the purport, if you remember, said, there may be difference of opinion amongst individuals. But because the goal is devotional service, we remain united. So, let's say you're in a team, we're all educated with an independent mind. And let's say you have a different viewpoint. So you can present it in an appropriate, respectful manner to the next layer of management and see how to settle that. And eventually every temple has a temple president, and there's a zonal secretary, etc. There's a certain hierarchy that Prabhupada has established for making decisions. We don't say, if you have a different viewpoint, you are damned. No, we welcome suggestions. Prabhupada himself would say, so, what do you think, how should this be done? Prabhupada himself would very often solicit advice. Not that he needed advice, but he would just make us feel wanted. So there's no harm if you have a different viewpoint, but take it, present your different viewpoint in a respectful manner. And the writer,
yes.
He's a lawyer.
It said in the purport we should see it as a spiritual disagreement. I was wondering about that. How is it spiritual?
The point is, both the parties want to serve Krishna. Only difference is one said, I'll go left, and the other says, I'll take the right road. But the goal is to please Krishna. If that is the goal, then eventually there will be unity. That's the important point. And if there is some division of opinion, then we have the hierarchy of the movement. We step in and help. And in such a way, you run, I can see that most of you live at home. You run a small household, with 1 or 2 children, and husband and wife. Do you think it's easy? Do you have disagreements at home? Or no disagreements? Okay. Your kids begin to grow up. After a certain age, they say, "Daddy, what did you do for me? All I did was your duty. Now give me a free hand." It's by and large an ungrateful world. So if you can't, if in a family of 4 people there is conflict or different viewpoint, how can you expect in a society with thousands of devotees, all coming from different cultural backgrounds, there will never be any difference of opinion. But we have the medium through which we can solve it. Yes? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for your association. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, Ananya Bhakta, Avyabhicharini Bhakti. At a sadhaka stage, how practical it is to come to that level within this one lifetime, and what needs to be done to come to that stage.
Prabhupada said, you can be Krishna conscious in 1 minute, or you can take a whole lifetime or several lifetimes. In other words, if we decide in 1 minute, from now onwards, I'm not going to do anything detrimental. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana Goswami, accept everything favorable and reject everything. Just adopt that principle. And then you're on the path back to Godhead.
Thank you.
The problem is, we don't fully trust what Krishna says. Is that true? Is that true? Krishna says, Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja, aham tam sarva papabhayo moksha samimāsita. Give up everything and surrender to me. I will protect you. Ma suchaha, do not worry. But we say, may be true, may not be true. I don't have enough evidence. At the moment it appears that watching movies, going to clubs, that's more enjoyable. You have this Amazon. Huh? Everyone's heard of Amazon? Forget America. Everyone in India knows Amazon now also. Okay. So why do people, the various reasons why Amazon has grown so much. Well, one reason that they have grown so much is their money back guarantee within 30 days. So some people regularly buy from Amazon, use the product, and then send it back within 30 days. Okay, that's the secondary point. So, why has it become so famous? Because people trust their money back guarantee. You have $100 bill, you have the confidence. If I go to a shop or anywhere in the world, I can cash it. So you have faith in Uncle Sam's $100 bill. But when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, we send to hesitate. We should have faith, and our faith will get stronger if we regularly read the Bhagavad Gita. Not casually read, but really study it, just like when you all are preparing for IIT or any major institution. You study your books deeply. The Bhagavad Gita also can be studied and applied. Any more questions? No question from the ladies?
I have one I have one question also. So in the same Srimad Bhagavatam, the sons of Prajnavari, it is still Prabhupada mentioning that the real unity is also possible in aiming towards Krishna or God. then only the unity happens. And he gave an example of the United Nations, because everybody has different self-interest. And subsequently Prabhupada mentioned that every individual should have a self-interest towards Vishnu. So how do we really achieve the real unity within ISKCON, because majority organizations are not able to do. So we have so much of diversity in terms of different background, different cultural, nationality, and other interests also. So how do we...
ISKCON is far more united than 99% of the other spiritual organizations. Usually you see, after the founder Acharya leaves the planet, things fall apart. But in our ISKCON you see, when Prabhupada left the planet in 1937, after that, ISKCON has expanded. Now there are more than 600 centers. Prabhupada's books have been published in most languages of the world. In other words, the movement went on expanding. So, we don't say, if you have an independent viewpoint, you're damned out on the highway. Sometimes some leaders sometimes you hear the mantra, my way or the highway. We don't say that anymore. We respect viewpoints. But we should understand that I may have a different viewpoint, but ultimately I should do what is decided by the group that is managing the temple. Just like we have 30 GVCs. GVC members have their viewpoint, but ultimately what comes out as a resolution is what is passed by the majority. So we don't say if you have a different viewpoint, you'll go to hell. We respect. ISKCON is strong enough to respect different viewpoints. Is that your question?
Yes.
Any more questions? No questions? So thank you very much.